characters. I love drawing them and getting to know more about them. That's why drawing characters other people designed and learning more about design that way as well is fun to me. Hi, here's May, and today you can join me as I talk about my experience of drawing some of your characters. I'll start with some info on the character based on the information their artist sent me. The first character is a Genshin OC. Since I draw a lot of Genshin fan art myself, I love seeing and getting to draw designs like this. This is Crystal Shuihua from Leo Harbor. She has taken on the role of the new boss of Bubu Pharmacy and is a newly licensed pharmacist. Shuihua is the clan Crystal comes from. It's the most powerful clan in Leo since the Archon War. Her mom is Fontanian, while her dad is from Leo. She was raised in Petrichor in Fontaine. Baiju trained her as pharmacist until he left to research his condition, leaving Crystal to take over his position at Bubu Pharmacy. She was blessed with wrath by Guizhong when she was born. Crystal also has a hydrovision, which she got as a 7-year-old when blood-bending an abusive adult to save her friend. Due to these circumstances, many people fear her and jump to conclusions before interacting with her. While growing up, she has become more awkward and quiet personality-wise, but she is a kind person overall and a skilled fighter. She's good with the polearm and scythe and known for her martial arts skills, becoming a master in the Shuihua arts discipline at 10 and creating her own variant of it at age 13. Something Zhongli, her godfather, has pointed out about her is her potty mouth. Crystal can easily be angered and passionate about her opinions, but she keeps this in check when working to appear more professional. The artist also mentioned that she is not afraid to speak her mind to help others this way, and that her MBTI type would be INFJ. When drawing Crystal, I first sketched in a pose. I went with a stretched out hand here to show her more open side. At the same time, the head is angled downwards, fitting to her more reserved personality. Speaking of her personality, the being extremely dangerous when angry reminds me of Sogo from Idolish 7, who has the same MBTI type as Crystal based on her description. I sketched in Crystal's outfit. I especially like the butterfly motif and the detailed patterns. The design looks more like a Genshin outfit this way. When drawing the line art, I also like to separate the general lines from these pattern parts by keeping them in separate folders. I use my line art brush with varying line thickness for drawing the line art, while keeping the brush size small. I tend to make the silhouette parts and especially the face outline or hair above the face thicker, while keeping inner and detailed lines thinner. After all the line art is drawn in, I add the patterns by making my brush size thicker. I use the same brush for line art and adding these patterns. It's also the brush I use for shading most of the time. It has a bit of texture to it. I can also use a brush with more varying line thickness and opacity, as well as no texture for shading, and another brush with almost no varying line thickness for sketching. Other than this, I just use an airbrush, blender and eraser brush. These and the 3 I mentioned before are basically all the brushes I use when drawing characters. For adding textures to backgrounds or effects, I may use additional brushes though. Now back to the process. You can see that when shading the hair I made it brighter. This was so I could see the shadows I was painting in more easily. To not strain my eyes as much, I like to keep my screen brightness low. That's also one of the reasons my drawing interface in Krita is bright. Due to this, I find making really dark parts of illustrations brighter when painting in shadows helpful. I discovered it's just important that I check that the overall contrast in the illustration works in the end, even at brighter screen levels. For Crystal's design here, I found the red hair parts and warmer hair colors that contrast with the cooler outfit colors especially nice, since it draws some attention to the face. After finishing up the shading and doing some final adjustments, I was done with this illustration. Now let's move on to the second character. He's a sheep occultist who can be a bit silly. The artist Sheepy Boy on YouTube also said that he mostly wears fancy clothes. I went with a more elegant pose for this character with a hand on his shoulder. For his face, drawing the eyebrows and making his neck wider made him look more like in the design. Paying attention to the eyes for the design also makes sure that the character looks like themselves. When drawing in the outfit, I tried seeing how it looked with or without adding the coat from his design. I like seeing the different versions of his outfit. They reminded me a bit of Valkyrie from Ensemble Stars. Then I drew in the sheep horns on his head. This reminded me of drawing the Obey Me characters a while ago. Then I drew in the line art. Especially drawing the fluffy hair was nice. I also enjoyed drawing in the clothes and paid attention to making the inner fold lines thinner. I filled in the colors and went on to shading after this. When shading the eyes, I made sure they would be rather bright, and for the hair I would use shorter, smaller shapes to show the hair length. For the clothes, I used rather soft shading and not as sharp zigzaggy shapes for the hair. For the horns, I mainly added shading at the outside to add depth to them. Shading these outer parts or just shading the horns in general was a bit challenging since they have a different material from the clothes. I really like the hair and eye color and how the light pastel colors contrast with the darker outfit. Like this, the illustration of the second character here is done. For the next OC, here's some information on them. According to what their artist said, this character is an absolute goober, chaotic evil, and a menace to society who loves pranks. To portray that this character is a bit mischievous, I wanted to make the pose be kinda different. For this I made one arm overlap with the upper body. I also gave the character a smirk that would be asymmetrical. I really enjoyed drawing in her hair. I wanted to convey its fluffiness. I also like the sleeves in the outfit design. For the ears, these are nice since you can pose them differently, so it looks nice with the character's pose. For the lines, I paid attention to making these flowy and soft. Then I also added the asymmetrical sleeve in the character's design, which is a nice and interesting aspect of the character's design to me. It fits the more quirky personality. For shading, I start with the skin as usual. Adding the brighter parts for the hair was nice. It also helped to separate the parts in front from the parts in the back. For the outfit, I wanted to make sure to make this look soft with some blended edges and folds. Like this, the third character is finished. Moving on to the fourth character, who would be Azure. He loves orange juice, paper boats and goldfish while disliking seafood. Whenever he sees someone eat seafood, he cries because he feels bad for his sea creature friends. Azure spends most of his time near a beach or any other water-related areas. When drawing him, I wanted to go for a rather reserved pose. Since he cries easily, I imagined he'd be more of a quiet, sensitive person. Azure also seems like a caring person since he cares a lot about sea animals. Due to this, I also used a gentle expression. After sketching in the hair, I drew in Azure's body. For the hand on the right, I was kind of unsure about what pose to go for. The pose looked pretty unnatural at first to me. The outfit is what I sketched in next, and after this, I tried working more on the hand on the right. I drew in the palm facing the viewer at first, but turned the hand around so the back of the hand would face the viewer afterwards, which worked more nicely to me. Next I did the line art. I really like the design of Azure's jacket and how it has some fish-themed elements with the zigzag teeth parts on the hood. The choker and necklace are nice accessoires as well. I also like the small cross parts in his hair and the checkered pattern. The koi fish pattern on Azure's jacket sleeves is a nice fitting addition for him as well. When shading, I made sure to add the brighter parts to his hair. I also made the upper and lower part darker and cooler, while making the middle part around his hair lighter and more warm. This way the hair shading conveys the spherical shape of the head. When shading the outfit, I separated the arm in front from his upper body by making the part behind the arm darker. After making the lines colorful, using blurred copies of my merged color group layer and clipping this on the line art, I painted over some parts and added the eye reflections as well as some sparkles around Azure. Like this, the last illustration for this video is done. Thank you to everyone who submitted a character. I really enjoyed drawing them and I'd love to do a video like this in the future again. For that, I'll leave a link to a form where you can submit your character designs so I can redraw them. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, bye.